listening to the Aesthetically Speaking podcast, presented by Nextech.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Aesthetically Speaking podcast, brought to you by Nextech. I'm your host, Tyler Terry, and we are coming to you live from the Nextech Edge users meeting in beautiful Orlando, Florida. Today, I have a very special guest who is somebody that I consider not just a friend, but also family. She has been one of the most kind people I've met in my 12 plus year career, has one of the most beautiful hearts and souls. Anybody who knows her would feel the same way. Her name is Candace Crowe. Candace has worked with aesthetic medical practices since 1999, helping to pioneer the marketing through patient education strategy. Candace, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Ty.
Of course.
Glad to be here.
I'm so happy and very grateful to have you on the show. You bring a wealth of knowledge. You thought of and saw this pain point of patient education, in-practice marketing, photography, all the elements of, what we know and love about TouchMD. You saw that before anybody saw it. So I want people to know that are listening, Candace saw it and was an innovator and is an innovator and deserves credit for that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was 1999. I saw my first ASPS video, and it was a doctor in a white lab coat standing, talking to a breast augmentation patient, how to prepare, how to take care of yourself afterwards. And I go, it was Debbie Boyd, the doctor's wife. Debbie, you got to go to the powder room. You cannot do this. You cannot talk to women like that. It's woman to woman, right? So at that time, we would sit side by side. It was usually the surgeon's wife. And they had these photo albums. And you'd sit right there by them and you'd flip through these photo albums and you'd tell stories. And then you flip the page and you talk another story. And it was two women sitting telling stories. And that's how I learned how to market. I'm an innovator. That's what I love doing. And you took this idea that you didn't even copy me. You had it independently. I remember walking in, I think it was 2009 in Seattle. Holy shit. I go,
oh, no. That's my idea.
No. And you had like 8 salespeople.
Yeah.
I'm going, TK, go over there and look.
Yeah. Candace, tell us a little bit about your business and sprinkle in a little bit with your career too. I know you told us a little bit, but tell us a little bit about your business and your career.
My company is a family company and really grew out of a need. I've always been an innovator, an entrepreneur, but never really wanted to grow a company. But I became single and I had 4 sons to raise. 3 to 13, and I needed to figure it out really fast. So I worked with a business coach and figured out, okay, this is what I'm really good at. And then we figured out the product and we developed, it was called Revenue. We developed that, and that really did a great job at taking care of my kids through that particular phase of life. Then we shifted into branding and stuff. And then currently we are half software and half digital marketing. So the software side is Bragbook. It's our before and after gallery. It's a WordPress plugin. It has so many benefits that it will maximize the value of your before and after photos. And so that is key to all marketing, before and afters and reviews. And then the other one is a digital signage platform. It's called Advantage Play. And so it's drag and drop into a playlist and hit play and it plays on your TV.
How did you find yourself so motivated to help level up photo galleries?
So there's an evolution, right? So when you all came to market, I realized you're doing such a good job. Where am I going to find my niche? And at that time, the internet was really slow and doctors were asking, can we update our own photos on our website? And that was really a rough deal. So we put together, I think it was 2013, a real rough upload your own photo kind of thing. And gosh, people kept asking for it, right? So then over the years, you go, okay, well, I've got to figure out how to do this better and better and better. And so that's been around for a good 10, 11 years. And then we just recently released a total upgrade, a whole rework of it.
And that's the WordPress plugin. Is that right?
It was always a WordPress plugin, but
Okay.
This one, it comes with a dashboard.
Oh.
So it's just like your QuickBooks. You log in, you go, okay, these are my analytics. These are the most favorited photos. I can see how many people have uploaded over the last year or two. I've got a graph for that. You can save as drafts, so you have somebody proofreading things.
Patients can heart the photo.
Patients can heart the photo. You get a lead.
Okay.
It's got a quality score, so somebody can log in and say, hey, I've got these 18 items that I can update to get 100% on my quality score. It's just got lots of things to be able to tell you you're maximizing your before and after marketing. Not just a feature to have a feature, but this is how you get a better ROI on your before and after leads than you would on a Google Ads.
Wow. And
Seriously.
you mentioned something earlier on a panel, which you were phenomenal on, by the way, where you noticed with a study or trends, you have to clarify here, where a practice that has a set of 5 before and afters, so like a set of 5 angles compared to a set of 3 or just 1, the SEO is a lot higher. Is that right?
The time on pages.
The time on
there's
page.
a whole lot of variables into that, though. Do you have a patient story? Do you have basically some before and afters are just nude, and Google's going to pick it up as pornography. And if you don't have enough data in there to say this page isn't pornography. So we really encourage our users to add those fields, but we also have a little AI tool that they can use to generate that. It reads the picture. It kind of puts a nice little case description together for them. And so, yes, we've done some studies. It's not just the number of angles that you have. It's having all these other things like internal linking back to your procedure page. Let's say it's a breast augmentation photo. You'd put a couple links in that case description back to those breast aug pages. It's a variety of things, but we've got a formula for that. You want to get the most out of it, you get 100 on your score.
Can you talk to us about this score and the mechanisms in terms of how you would judge this and the value that it provides to the patient, most importantly?
So I can give you a quality score for a gallery, but we're not going to get into photo taking. So Ty, this is your deal. And I've got a list here for you of 5 things that we're going to do to get you a quality score.
Yes.
And then you could have a quality score posted on your website even that has these listed out, the things that make these photos authentic and real. So I'm going to just list off the 5 real quick.
Okay. Tune into this. This is amazing, everybody.
Okay, so it's already been set the industry standard angle, so that gets 20 points. I'd love to get listeners' feedback on this. Lighting consistency, because, that can change the shape of a nose, it can change the shape of a chin. I'm giving that 20 points. Authenticity and editing restrictions. I want to limit that to just maybe rotation by 1 or 2 degrees, just very limited cropping, and identify the cropping that is done. We have a goal of actually being able to put on bikini bottoms and lace bras so that, the censoring isn't just these god-awful pasties or this little triangle down here. I encourage the people that are taking the pictures to make eye contact, touch them on the shoulder, maybe even put them at ease, have some slippers there for them, piece of chocolate, whatever it takes. Lens quality and distortion control, 20 points. Camera settings and imaging clarity is 10. Patient preparation, that means no jewelry, hair pulled back, and so forth, 10 points.
Candace, why do you think photos are not prioritized in some practices?
It's just not a priority, and it has not been. And so I'm calling them out on it. I'm calling them out and saying, go to the Rolex store, look at that Rolex brochure, and you might pay $5,000 or $11,000 for a Rolex, and a faceless costs $35,000. And I'm just saying, you're competing with a Rolex. Or look at the food networks and the restaurants you go to, and Michelin wouldn't put a fuzzy photo of a delicate plate on there.
Never.
And you wouldn't go to it.
You would question it. You'd be like, no, I'm not going in there. Just like when you read a review and you're like, I'm not buying that. It's a 4.1.
So I've done a lot of deep dives into different hardware and different setups. And I'm a big advocate for TouchMD. I really am. And I do, though, want you to take ownership. I want you, the doctor, the business owner, to take ownership of your before and after gallery.
Yeah.
Your before and after taking photos,
It relates to everything in your practice, right?
Oh my God.
I mean, everything that you're doing, it is showcasing and putting on display, even if it's just for the patient, even if it's not for all of your patients in your gallery, It is on display. It is your work.
It's your legacy.
How do patients use photos to help them make buying decisions, in your opinion?
This story probably tells it the best. We were at the facial meeting in New Orleans, and we were right across from a rep that had breast reconstruction. And she was a young girl, and she's nervous as all get out about it. And she searched high and low for somebody that was her age, her race, all the particulars. She searched high and low all over the internet to try to find somebody just like her so that she could identify with and see what she might look like, or see somebody that was like her.
To relate.
Like, that's human, though. We gravitate to people
who we want to be like or similar to or find aspire to. Yeah.
Yeah. So that tells it in a nutshell, if you ask me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. I know you're really big on the DSLR. Which one is your favorite?
So this is what I want you to do if you're listening. I want you to go to your phone and search what's the best lens for portrait photography. Did I say that? I got my words all mixed up. But yeah, just search, and it's going to tell you a 70 or 80 millimeter lens. All of the iPhones, all of the phones have incredible marketing. And believe me, they take great photos, but they have filters, and they use a wide angle lens. So I don't know if you're watching or not, but a wide angle lens is going to get you this much. Right? A 70 is going to get you this much, which will reduce the barreling. It's not going to take care of it 100%. But let's say you're a rhinoplasty doctor and you take a picture with all that barreling and you take it into your OR with you. It's not going to help.
Yeah.
And it's not going to show a proper outcome. It's not a medically correct photo. I actually try to categorize photos. These are marketing photos. For the spa, I'm going to be a little more lenient and say, use whatever you have, take photos. Don't let a patient go without taking photos.
Please take photos every time. So practice is not taking photos. Start taking photos yesterday.
Don't disgrace the industry.
Yeah, I love that. And for those listening, think of the story and the timeline and the journey of one single photo.
Yeah.
You take that photo. Now, where do you want it to go and how quickly can you get it there, right? You want it in the consult room. You want the patient to potentially see it on their phone. You potentially might want to use it on social media. So why is it important, if we kind of peel back the onion, why is it important to get a great photo? Well, because that photo is going to represent your practice when that patient is at her daughter's soccer practice showing her friend on the portal, or it's on social media, or you wish you would have gotten a great photo because you got a great result.
And I do also want to understand Snap and your SLR. How do they work together?
Yeah, of course. So essentially, Snap is our photo app. It runs exclusively on Apple devices, being iPads or iPhones. And essentially, it can sync with any Canon camera live as long as it's hardwired. So you do have to hardwire it. There is a brand new one. It's the R50. Yeah, Canon R50, and it uses a USB-C port, and it just goes USB-C to USB-C. Most of the new iPads and iPhones are USB-C. Essentially, the idea is if you don't just want a photo taken on an iPad or iPhone, which is a computational photo, right? It's usually multiple photos stitched together, and you want the raw photo, which is what we're talking about, you would use that Canon camera on a tripod. Of course, you want it to be a certain distance from the patient, and typically you want to have that marked out for your staff in the room. Ideally, you'd have a photo dial or a photo mat, right? So that you can have the patient standing on the 1s and the 3s and the 5s and the 7s for the different angles. But essentially the way it works is the iPad is going to be mounted on the tripod along with the camera, and it's going to be hardwired. What you would do is you would ideally, let's say patient is getting ready to be roomed into the photo room, and we give her slippers, right, to make it comfy and cozy, like you said.
Maybe put some music on.
Maybe some music, maybe some scents going. I love it. Yeah, so she would go and stand, or he would go and stand up against that whatever color wall,
you got your
right?
pictures on the wall.
Ideally, pictures are up on the wall with the sequences, so we know that,
with your process.
Patient's here today for whatever the case may be, BBL halo, Cyton stacking of treatments. So then, we're going to have her, for me, I would have a seat personally. So I would have the patient sit. But if you want the photo dial, that's great too. So either or. And imagine having that tripod right there I don't know, maybe 6 to 10 feet away from the patient. The iPad is going to be mounted. Snap is going to be on there. Camera's on. And on the iPad, imagine it having a live view of what's being captured on the camera.
Yeah, that's
with
nice.
The grid lines and the ghosting and the sequencing. And then you can
And
control
a leveler.
And the leveler, yep. And it has an auto capture and all those different things that you need. And then you can capture photos or videos of the patient. And so you're bringing the best of both worlds together. You're getting raw photos, the real photos from the Canon camera. And the beauty is real time. Because without our technology, the pain point is, oh, I took the photos on the DSLR mirrorless camera, but now I need to pull out the SD card, put them in, and then make sure that I delete them so it's safe. And what we do is nothing saves on the camera. It deletes after it imports into Snap. So it's extra secure, which is pretty cool.
That's real cool.
Yeah.
Now, I want to understand what happens then. Are they file named? Are they put in folders automatically? Or how does that work?
So you launch the app, you have the patient logged in, and then at that point, you can title the session, you can tag the session, choose the sequence if it's breast or body or face, and then those sequences will have a number next to them to say, hey, you've got 7 or 3 or 5 angles that you're taking with the sequence. And then you have the ability to choose the background removal, potentially. And with background removal, you actually can choose any hex color. So literally, if you have an exact color of your logo, we can type in that hex color code or Q, utilize that exact color. Or we have a droplet, which we can grab an exact color. But essentially, any color in the spectrum we can add as the background. And then that way, if you don't have the luxury of having a great photo room or backdrop, we're essentially using a lot of Apple's tools and TouchMD's tools, but it automatically cuts around their body or face and in real time before it's even taken. So
that's an excellent way to do it. I would also want to hear about, I understand that you can save them a couple places if the practice has their own hard drive that they want to save them to, because I want to avoid extra redundant steps for the users, because ultimately, they need to get them either to social media or to their website. And I'm going to help them with getting them to their website. And right now, my clients only know about downloading them one at a time.
Yeah.
And that's not true. They can actually, you can bulk download
bulk
them.
download and bulk upload. Yeah. To like social. So this end-to-end photography experience is capture photos consistently, which that sounds easier said than done, but consistently capture photos, right? And then how do we instantly get them to the console? Because the next pain would be, okay, you captured them consistently. Now, gosh, I need some tools to showcase them in the room. Great. We have console, we have beautiful tools, sliders, watermarking, all the cool tools you need. All right. But then after that, it's all right, we save them and we draw on them. We put our watermark on it. It's ready for social. Now, how do we get it? There's 2 more spots that needs to go either, well, potentially 3. Your EHRs, we need to send them back to Nextech. We need to send them to social media, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you want to send them. And then we need to get them potentially to the patient.
Oh, you totally forgot the website.
And the website is, I was just thinking the TouchMD pieces, but the website is it's just as important, if not more important than any of those 3, right?
Social media is important, but you need one storehouse. These are like 500 of your golden before and afters here. It's so impressive, especially if you hold them to a high standard and you have them all in one place.
Yeah. We provide, of course, unlimited storage. We save each photo, we save multiple times.
So we're going to figure out how to get them easily from your system into Bragbook.
Yes.
Our before and after gallery. It's a WordPress plugin. Installs on websites.
That would be amazing.
Of all of the major web hosting companies, we have on all of them. Even 3 web companies are now using it exclusively for their websites.
Wow.
And reselling it is going to be something that you're going to want to look at and take ownership of, because until you do, you're just at kind of the whim of staying with the web company that you're with. This one will move with you if you change web providers. If you ever want to leave Bragbook, we export all of the information for you and give it to you. That way, rebuilding isn't like $5,000.
Yeah.
The web companies that are using it can charge $500 to $5,000 less for a website.
Wow.
Because we offload all that work for them.
Yeah, I hope I want us to be able to get that integration. A few more questions for you. Are descriptions and demographics a nice to have or a must have?
Does Google know that a naked picture isn't pornography without any descriptions or metadata? So There's one reason right there. And we go back to how we used to sit side by side going through a photo album telling stories. Women like to hear stories. The most common one, is the mommy makeover. This 32-year-old wanted to get her body back after if swimsuit season was coming up or the high school reunion or whatever. And, she just didn't want to feel dumpy. And she came in and she had these whatever treatments done. And she was a little shy about giving her before and afters. But after some talking about education and how she used before and afters to make her decision, she said, okay, to just a story. With our tool, if you put in all the data or if it comes in over from the EMR, the AI will write your story and then you just read it and edit it how you want.
I love that. And it makes perfect sense. I mean, just that first question you asked, does Google know the difference?
Yeah,
And
Google doesn't.
Okay, so what are some other smart ways that you see practices leveraging before and after photos and marketing?
I did a lot of research before this just to kind of see, because I'm not a real big social person. I don't enjoy it. I kind of poke in and out of it sometimes. We do social creation at the company and stuff like that, but I wanted to really test out a lot of the AI out there. And there's just so many that you all are already using. I would just want you to explore all those, tell stories, figure out your brand. There's some ones that you put your colors in there, give it a good prompt, and it'll put a friggin' video together for you.
Pretty amazing.
With a voiceover and really nice transitions, and it's out there. And I do see more and more practices hiring somebody like that to do that. I think we're just in the infancy of some of that, but story creation and your not just Instagram posts or of a before and after have been traditional. Do not overlook Google Business Profile though. When you're doing this, make sure you deck that one out, because we have seen a change in the way people search with this AI. In fact, some of our doctors now tell us that patients tell them they find them through ChatGPT.
Yeah, they have a search component now, which is crazy. I mean, I looked up things through ChatGPT a lot more than Google now.
Same here.
Yeah, it's just the place to go.
Easier.
Easier,
And,
get more concise,
oh my gosh.
more dialed in.
Yeah, where do you think I got that headline about Michelin?
Yeah. Well, you don't go through as many rabbit holes for me. I mean, you can go down a rabbit hole by continuing to ask questions, but it's easier to find what you need. I want to end with this question. What do you see our next, let's just say 5 years looking like in this industry? It's pretty important years when you think, we kind of just all came from this social media boom. There's no discrepancy on if you should be on social media, right? But now we've got ChatGPT and AI everywhere you go.
Well, I do know that we have today and that we need to get up and do the very best we can today. I call it doing the dishes.
Ooh, I love it.
You get up and you do the dishes every single day, and then tomorrow's going to be a little better. And quite often I'll ask myself, what can I do today to make tomorrow better? And I know for me that I can do that. And if I can do that, then you can do that. And if you can do that, then you can do that. And we don't have to go down the dark side. And I do pray for this country. I do pray for everybody to choose to be kind.
Be kind. I love it. Leave things better than when you left them, right? And
we all are going to die one day. That's important to me because I want to live every minute I can while I'm here. I just went through breast cancer and I'm just on my way of climbing back out. I'm up to a 16.5-minute mile run.
That's
that would have been
that's amazing.
That would have been embarrassing before, but
you were so tough. You're in here doing so many push-ups right before this episode. I was so impressed. Wow.
You get to a point in life, I love being older, where you just can't help it, but you just want to live every minute that you're here.
Wow. And how are you feeling, by the way? How
I'm ready to go home.
Good.
I live here in Orlando. Just appreciate you having me as a guest.
Oh my gosh. I appreciate you being on. And I just want to share this one final thought that was sparked by what you said. I was listening to a basketball debate show, and they were talking about how the new basketball players need to leave the next generation of basketball players a better league than when they found it, just like Michael Jordan left for Kobe and Kobe left for Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, and they feel like that's not happening. Basketball viewership has gone down. And it made me think of our industry, that those coming in are new plastic surgeons and dermatologists and ophthalmologists and med spas and all the different specialties. We should think to leave our industry better than we found it. And us as professionals, as colleagues, should leave it better than we found it for the next generation. I love that, Candace. Well, I just want to thank you again for taking time to be on our show, and appreciate your friendship and appreciate all that you shared, and would love to have you back on, of course.
Thank you, Tyler.
For those of you that are listening, please be sure to check out the show notes to check out the different links that we're going to include about the photo score that you can take a look at. We'll also have links to social media to follow Candace's company and Candace as well. So Candace, thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, until next time. Thanks, guys.
Yes, thanks. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Aesthetically Speaking, the podcast where beauty meets business, presented by Nextech. Follow and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. Links to the resources mentioned on this podcast are available in your show notes. For more information about Nextech, visit nextech.com, or to learn more about TouchMD, go to touchmd.com. Aesthetically Speaking is a production of The Axis, TheAxis.io.